morning, my name is Danielle. I'm a metalsmith and jeweler and the owner of DMG Designs. I create collections of jewelry and homewares as well as one-of-a-kind and custom designed work using silver, copper, brass, and gold. I work out of a Sunny Artist studio in downtown Portland and use a variety of silversmithing techniques to create my work. I especially love hammering metal, so I use a lot of different hammering techniques. These methods create really durable and long-lasting products. So today I thought I'd show you a little bit about my process. I'll be following along in the chat, so let me know if you have any questions. Today I'm going to show you how I make one of my most popular jewelry designs, and that's my Peace Lily pendant. I've got a copper and sterling silver version right here, and today I'm actually going to show you how I make my silver and gold version. So far, I have got my template cut out. So I started with a sheet of metal, just like this. This is sterling silver. And I actually fused almost pure gold foil to one side. So I've got silver on one side and pure gold on the other. And I just used heat and pressure to fuse a really thin layer of gold just like that to this. And so now I've got a bimetal. So I've cut it out and gotten the gold applied, as well as hammered in my maker's mark and the metal purities. And then I've got a 2.5-inch piece of 16 gauge wire, which will be used to make the stamen part of the flower. So the next step is actually going to be to hammer this into form. So I'm going to go take you out back to my forming room and we will get started. Okay, so I'm out back in my forming room. This is where I do all of my hammering. So I have my piece of metal and I'm going to start out by adding all of the texture that I want. So to do this, I am going to use a cross peen hammer and a flat mandrel and add in some texture lines. Okay, so now you can see I've got some nice texture for my flower, and I'm going to start making it round. So I have a miniature anvil that I use to round out my pieces. And this is just a raising hammer actually, but I use it for many different things. And gently hammer it into form so as not to completely take out my texture that I just added. And gently round the edges out. Okay, so I've got it halfway hammered, and now is going to be the time to form my stamen and solder that in before I hammer it all the way. Okay, so what I'm going to do to form my stamen is actually going to be to melt the tip of it into a little ball to give it that stamen tip. Yeah. So I'm actually going to coat my silver with a boric acid mixture so it doesn't develop a copper plating. And I've got an acetylene torch. I just concentrate my heat right at the tip. Until I get a nice, perfect little ball. So you can see I've got the little stamen tip formed, and now I've just got to make the bail end so that a chain can go through. Okay, so right now I'm giving this a perfect angle for soldering. I believe this is called a miter jig. And then I take my round nose pliers and got to measure exactly where I want my stamen to hit. Flat nose pliers to move it into place. Okay, and now I've got a basic bail shape formed, and I can solder that. Okay, so I'm going to dip it in my boric acid solution again. Some hard solder. So this is the highest melting temperature solder. Perfect. So that is now soldered and ready to be soldered into the outside piece. Okay, so I cleaned this piece by pickling it, and I'm going to dunk this piece as well. What's called a third hand to hold it in place. can oftentimes take a bit of finessing. To get the third hand lined up. And then I'll just spritz a little flux. Soldered. Okay, so I'm finished soldering, and now I just need to clean it, and then I can finish hammering it into form. So my next step is going to be to finish hammering the form, and to do that I'm actually going to back hammer on the edges to round them over. Okay, and I am done hammering. Okay, so the last step is going to be to sand and polish, so I'll go back into my other room. Okay, I'm gonna go wash off the polishing compound and I'll come back and show you. Alright, so there you have it. I am all finished. This pendant is ready to be strung on to any chain and ready to be worn. So thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you to Society of Arts and Crafts, and be sure to check out all the rest of the events they have scheduled for Craft Boston Holiday online. If you'd like to keep up with my journey, follow me online on Instagram or Facebook at DMG Designs Maine.